This is not work. They're supposed to sign up on it, and they don't. So, yeah. We'll just let whoever wants to talk. You know, I didn't, that last meeting, I left here kind of feeling uncomfortable, but I watched it on TV the other night, and it was fine. It was okay. Yes, it was all right. Okay. So. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this meeting of the City of Tyler Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for July the 1st. I'll just say something that's not on the agenda. This is my granddaughter's birthday, so say happy birthday to Sophie, please. Happy birthday to Sophie. The first order of business, we are in session, and the first order of business is a roll call. Whoever is doing that, I can see.
Yes, sir. Carlene Darkbays.
Present.
Clint Childs.
Present.
Philip Humber.
Present.
Christina Davis.
Present.
Michael Carmichael.
Present.
Roy Martinez.
Present.
David Hudson.
Present. We have a full commission here today. The Planning and Zoning Commission makes recommendations to the City Council. Any item approved today, excuse me, will be heard by the City Council at its regular meeting on Wednesday, July 23rd, commencing at 9 a.m. If you received a notice for this meeting, you also received a notice for the City Council meeting. If any item is denied, the applicant has 10 calendar days to file a written appeal with the Planning Department. The appeal will then be acted upon by the City Council. If you're here to speak for or against an item, please state your name and address please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less, although extensions of time may be granted by the chair upon request. Then we always have a workshop after this meeting to discuss next month's business, and that meeting will be on July the 15th at 1:30 in the Tyler Development Center across the street at 423 West Ferguson in the large conference room. And that meeting, like all of our meetings, is open to the public. The next item on our agenda is minutes from the June 3rd meeting. If commissioners had an opportunity to review those, any changes, corrections? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the June, what day was that? June 3rd meeting. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Those minutes are approved. First item on our agenda is zoning PD 25-011 Jenico West Mud Creek LLC. Anna.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and everybody here present. I do want to state for this case, it was one of our cases that was submitted at the beginning of the year. It was held at our May meeting for PZ, and it was denied. The reason that it's being presented today is because it's a different layout than what was originally submitted in May. So I'll kind of go over what the case is requesting. So this request is for an R1A single-family residential district to a PUR plan unit residential district. It is located at west of the northwest intersection of Cumberland Road and Biloxi Drive. The applicant is requesting the zone change to develop detached single-family homes with private streets. The surrounding properties are zoned with R1A, PMXD1, Plan Mixed Use District, PMF, Plan Multifamily District, Agricultural District, and Light Commercial District, and RPO, Restricted Professional Office District. Majority of the adjacent properties are undeveloped. Some of the adjacent properties to the south and west are developed with single-family homes. The future land use would consist of single-family, medium, low density. For this proposed site plan, they are proposing 40 single-family homes at a density of 1.48. The site plan shows 2 access points, one connecting to Wilder Trail and another connecting to future development to the east. The proposed 40 lots and the existing 13 lots within the subdivision to the west only require 1 access point given that there are fewer than 60 lots. The second access point to the east, exceed minimum requirements. However, it will allow for alternative access for residents when the addition of that future development is added. The proposed development would create a lower density than what would be allowed in the R1A zoning. All other development standards, including setbacks, density, height, landscape, and parking, will comply with the R1A regulations. The site plan proposes a cul-de-sac which exceeds the 600 feet length. The proposed private cul-de-sac will have a lower traffic volume as the lot sizes are larger and only 20 lots will street front along it. Of the 7 notices, 1 notice was returned in favor and 3 were returned in opposition to the request, bringing the total protest calculations to 18.47%. The opposition stated concerns of privacy, traffic, and density. Staff has performed a technical review of the request and finds that the request is generally consistent with the approval criteria, and staff recommends approval of the request.
Thank you, Anna. Any questions for city staff? Any questions for Anna? If not, I know nobody signed up to speak on my pad, but I know the persons here who are interested. So if you're here to speak for or against this item, will you please come to the microphone?
I know Wesley is not for this. So
I'm sorry, say that again?
Wesley Hamilton, the guy that shows he's not against it. He is against it, but anyway. I was hoping that y'all were gonna, that Genco was gonna do a larger comprehensive plan so that we would know what the future impact would be on the Cumberland Road residents. We still have the concerns of the road congestion, the additional traffic that's going to be going on Cumberland Road. There is also a concern of the development. It's a common known thing that when you do a development, the runoff that goes into the creek is going to cause additional drainage problems. And I was coming down Cumberland Road on June 4th, and water was going across Cumberland Road. I've got a video of it. Would I be able to let y'all look at it?
Can we do that, Colin? Do we have the capacity to do it or not? No. Evidently, we don't have the technology.
I mean, I've got it right here. Could I show it to you?
Yeah, let everybody see it. Jim, while we're doing that, Jim, would you just identify yourself for the...
Jim Clark, 1418 Cumberland Road. I'm sorry. I've been up here several times. But this is actually a higher density than what they originally were putting in. And, we were wanting the Genco group to do like a 1 acre minimum. And these are going to be, how big are the lots? How big are the lots though?
Between half and 1. From what I can tell, they're between half and 1.
A half acre lots?
developer can probably tell us to be for sure.
But again, the congestion on Cumberland Road, the future of what they're gonna do after this, how does that work when they decide to add on to that? Is that already approved?
No.
No? Okay. If you guys, are y'all not concerned about the water runoff at all?
Jim, we're concerned about every aspect of this proposal.
So I would just think that there needs to be a study because that the water's coming over the road and with this additional development, it's just gonna be worse. So, anyway, I'm against it, obviously. And if
And-
y'all would like to pass that around to look at that.
I think we can see it. And earlier you referred to another gentleman, Wesley Hamilton.
Right, right.
And are you representing that he has,
He's against it. I
is
mean, I
Mr.
have
Ham-
a-
is
I have
Mr.
a- I have a petition that he signed against it
Okay, well,
with his
pass,
signature on it.
pass that around. Is Mr. Hamilton here?
No, he's not here.
Okay.
There's several people that wanted to be here that aren't able to be here because of future commitments, so.
Any questions for Mr. Clark? If not, Jim, thanks for your time and presence.
Okay.
Thanks.
I would like for the other people to see that.
I think we can see it. I think we all saw it.
Okay.
I do have a question. Is this petition regarding this newest plan, or is this from the previous site plan?
That's from any plan that doesn't meet those requirements. Their 1 acre minimum is what we were requesting.
Got it, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, are there others, I don't know, I'm sure there are others here who'd like to speak on this? John? John Sauls?
Good afternoon, John Souls, 1401 Cumberland Road in Tyler. I've lived there 25 years. I've seen the water over Cumberland on other occasions. I've never seen it as wide as it is under this current film, which to me indicates that there's more paving been done and that creates more runoff. My primary concern is, over the years, I've become more involved in environmental issues, and I see this terrain map, and from going from a 1 acre plot to a ½ acre plot, or from a ½ acre plot to a multi-dwelling, the more people you have in a certain area, the less green space there's gonna be. Green space is what it mitigates the water runoff, absorbs it, and allows it to repercolate back into the soil. So I would just ask the council to, or the commission, to please consider every time you reduce the amount of green space for a family, or you increase the number of families within green space, the inevitable result of that in this very sloped drainage terrain is going to be that you're going to have a higher accumulation of runoff water, and that's going to adversely affect people. And Cumberland has become, 25 years ago, it was kind of a lazy little road. It's not lazy anymore. It's very full of traffic, times very often in mornings and afternoons. It's a 10, 15-minute wait to get pulled out from your driveway out onto it. So we can, as residents, we can only imagine how much worse it's going to be with additional building. But we're not opposed to the building. We just want it to be done sort of in conjunction with the original design of the homes that are already out there and have been for several years. And we would ask that you please take into consideration with this extreme terrain, the smaller you make the family dwellings, the greater the chance for adverse runoff water. I mean, it's just going to be inevitable. So we really think at the very minimum, acre lots will provide enough grass and greenery and absorption area that the heavy rainfall is not gonna flood that road out. Much more, it would have been impassable. I saw Jim's copy beforehand of a couple of cars not turning around. They went through it. If it had been much more runoff there, could have been swept off into the creek, which is that's a pretty deep on the, what is that, the south side of Cumberland. It's a pretty deep ditch right there. So I think it would have been pretty dangerous had there been very much water going over that road for that vehicle to drive through it. So, you know, if this area continues to develop, I think we're gonna be looking at maybe needing a bridge crossing there. So I would just, I would ask you please to take all these different concerns into consideration for this decision.
Thank you, Mr. Saul. Any questions for Mr. Sauls? Thanks again for your time and presence. Are there others who'd like to speak?
Good afternoon. My name is Trey Brewer. I'm the Vice President of Real Estate at the Gennego Group. I want to first thank Kyle Kingma and Cameron Williams and Daryl Kotzer of the City of Tyler for working with us on this development. This is something we've been working with them closely on the last several months, and I want to thank the internal Gennego team for working hard on this project. Our primary desire here is to develop a first-class, high-end residential neighborhood here in this section of the former Manziel Farm. We're running out of property over at Legacy Bend to keep going there, and so we see that this is the next best place to develop in Tyler. Our restrictions that we've already filed of record are identical to the Legacy Bend restrictions. The current zoning allows, that we have right now, without getting any approval from this body, allows developing 4 to 5 units, housing units per acre. And what we're proposing here is a gated residential development with a density of less than 1.5 units per acre. And so we feel like we're taking steps towards the neighbor's wishes of having the lots larger than what's currently required and was currently passed by this committee over a year ago. Within the last year, we've been working on a traffic study that the city required for a development that's this large. And the study came back and showed that the traffic was adequate on Cumberland Road and Biloxi to carry the additional traffic that we're generating from this development. The additional traffic, so with this 25 acres or so, that's about 100 or 125 houses that we could fit in this area, and we're proposing less than 30 here. Mr. Sauls and Mr. Clark have valid concerns about runoff, and we want to work closely with our engineers and the city engineering staff to make sure that those are adequately addressed, and we'd love to meet with them outside this meeting. But I would urge you guys to pass this. We've already been here several times, and the city is recommending approval, and so I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer. Any questions for Mr. Brewer?
I have one. So in addition to looking at the traffic, have you looked at water runoff? Have you guys come up with some sort of plan for that?
Sure. So that process hasn't happened just yet. Our engineers are finalizing their calculations, and that would be presented to Daryl Kotzer, the city engineer, for this, and make sure it's in keeping with the Tyler statute. So we very much want to make sure that's addressed.
Any other questions for Mr. Brewer? If not, thanks for your time and presence. Are there others who would like to speak on this item? All right, any questions for city staff?
I have a question about the traffic. Were we doing part of that study? Or was that a separate study for this specific subdivision, or?
The traffic study was for the entire 300, 400 acre area. So I think whatever changes here is actually less dense than the current zoning. So if anything, it would reduce that overall trip generation within the entire development. So if that traffic study was being conducted and they were requesting to go higher density, then you might have to tweak those calculations. But yeah, that's occurring concurrently. But like I said, it's a lower density, so it should not impact that study.
Colin, you want to address the cul-de-sac? Is this a normal way to deal with a long cul-de-sac, or does it normally have to have a variance?
With it being a planned development, it can be approved through this process. And one of the main things there is that we actually will have, with it being a planned development, you have the site plan, you have the size of the lots that are on it, you know how many are on there. And so you're looking at it as a complete development, and you can make that approval through this process.
Any other questions? Any other person here who'd like to speak on this item? All right, commissioners, is there a commissioner who'd like to make a motion? Mr. Keen, in the absence of a motion,
There will need to be some type of action by the commission, either for or denial.
And could it be pending further study on the
Yeah,
traffic
that option is
side
well
and
taken.
the water runoff side? Because the denial would set them way further back, correct?
If there's a denial, it could be appealed to the city council. There's that avenue.
commissioners, we need
Yeah.
some sort of
David-
some sort of action.
David, I'm going to move to approve item PD 25-011.
Motion's been made to approve. Your motion dies for a second.
I will second.
I'm understanding that.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, will somebody call the roll?
Carleen Darkbays,
Aye.
Clint Childs,
Aye.
Philip Humber,
Aye.
Christina Davis,
Nay.
Michael Carmichael,
Aye.
Roy Martinez,
Aye.
David Hudson,
No. Can you tell me what the vote was?
It's 5-2 in favor.
Motion was the motion passed 5-2. Good luck. The next item on our agenda is as soon as I get there. Is it Drake Equity? Is that the next one? Drake Equity, Z25-016, Drake Equity Partners.
All right. Sir, the applicant is requesting a zone change. Let's see. Sorry about that. The applicant is requesting a zone change for future commercial development. The land is located at the northeast intersection of Oak Hill Boulevard and West Grande Boulevard. The adjacent property to the north is zoned AG Agricultural District and is undeveloped. The adjacent property to the east is zoned C2 General Commercial District and is developed with commercial uses. Properties to the south are zoned AG Agricultural District and C1 Light Commercial and are undeveloped. To the west, the properties are zoned AG Agricultural District and PMF Planned Multifamily District and are undeveloped. The future land use guide identifies this property as mixed-use medium center. The request would amend the future land use guide to general commercial. As of Friday, June 27, 2025, of the 4 notices mailed, no notices were returned in favor or in opposition to the request. All other departments have reviewed the application and anticipate no significant impact on services and facilities by the proposed rezoning request. Staff has performed a technical review of the request and finds that it is consistent with the approval criteria, and staff recommends approval of the zone change.
All right, thank you. Any questions for city staff? If not, are there persons here who'd like to speak on this item, for or against? If not, is there a commissioner who'd like to make a motion? Staff recommendation is to approve.
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve. Just went blank on my Z25-016.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item's approved. Next is S25001 Drake Candy Park.
Yes, sir. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow for a wireless communication facility with a monopole communications tower up to 150 feet in height for AT&T Mobility. The land is located at the north of the northeast intersection of Robertson Road and Bennett Avenue, and the property is currently zoned M1 Light Industrial District. The adjacent property to the east is zoned INT Institutional District and is developed with an early college high school. The adjacent properties to the north, south, and west are zoned M1 Light Industrial District and are developed with commercial uses and industrial uses. The future land use guide is currently a business office park and would not be amended. Per the applicant's site plan, the applicant will be using the extra space to build 2 accessory equipment buildings for the telecommunications facility. 10 feet from the property line, the applicant has received a variance approval for an additional 15 feet to the rear yard setback of 25 feet. The applicant has provided the necessary information that collocation within 500 feet is not feasible on the lot. As of Friday, June 27th, 2025, of the 11 notices mailed, no notices were returned in favor or in opposition to the request. All other departments have reviewed the application and anticipate no significant impact on services or facilities by the proposed SUP request. Staff has performed a technical review of the request and finds that it is consistent with the approval criteria. Staff recommends approval of the special use permit to allow the construction of a monopole communications tower of 150 feet in height.
Thank you, Hunter. Any questions for city staff?
I do. What's the proposed term for the special use permit?
It'd be indefinite.
Indefinite.
Any other questions for city staff? I'm a little confused. How does that connect to the tower that we recommended 2 or 3 months ago, or is it completely different issue?
There's no connection.
Okay.
That was for, I think, a radio tower, and this is a cell tower.
Which we approved and has never been built.
That's correct.
All right, there are the persons here who'd like to speak on this item. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, my name is Vince Hebinger with Vincent Gerard and Associates, representing the landowner, the tower owner, and AT&T Mobility. I've got a real quick wireless 101 slide presentation. If you don't mind, I'll show you a little bit about how things are going.
I love to be entertained, so go right ahead.
It is. There's a huge push recently by the carriers to provide infill services because of capacity. This is the location that staff is talking about. It's in the middle of an industrial park. Oh, thank you. The star represents where the site would be. It is in the back. It's all zoned industrial, except for behind us is the school, and that's basically open space. We did get a variance approved for the equipment cabinets only in that last 15 feet of that area at the Board of Adjustments, because there's more buffer in there. There's a Dove Avenue that's unbuilt and unconstructed, which is more buffer in that area. And plus, the tenant could not use and operate the gates unless we pushed them back further. They have large 40-foot trucks that go in there. But that was approved. This is where the site is, a perfect location on the industrial complex that is pretty far from the roadway, pretty far from visibility, pretty far from everybody's view. As we know, we love to use our cell phones. We just not always want to look at the cell towers. A study was done by our office where the closest towers were. We found 3 over a mile away. So there wasn't any co-location opportunities. In this industry now, the carriers play better together, plus all the tower companies are building towers for them. So they look for vertical facilities first before they come in and say, hi, Tyler, I want to build a new build here, and this is why. They do provide some RF maps. These are like the Doppler radar maps, but this is a current coverage for AT&T Mobility. You can see where their sites are also in the big blue crosses there. Green is great in-building coverage. Yellow and lighter green is in-vehicle coverage. Where you see white are really, really poor coverage as well. So you can see the site, you can see the hole in the gap of coverage. Preferably, we would have been a little bit further to the west, but that's what it looks like when you turn, oops, end of story. Sorry about that. That's what it looks like when you turn that site on. Mac, mind that. We're having problems. Anyway, you could see the green expand quite a bit. And we didn't get all of the area, but that's very unpopulated areas of the part of Tyler over there as well. Capacity is driving a lot of these things. You know, when you're downloading something on your phone, an attachment is going and going and going. That's RF power. That's what capacity is doing. Those sites are pretty much overloaded with videos and phones and pictures that were now state-of-the-art for the iPhones. I blame Apple on all that stuff, but capacity is a major problem. You see the graph there where it's overgrowing the red line, where that site is already over capacity as well, and that's what the neighboring sites are doing. On the left side, you see a standard monopole picture. If they've modified everything to the most extent structurally and antennas, 5G's up there, AT&T FirstNet's up there, and it's completely maxed out, then that's when the RF engineers call for a new search ring, and this is what happened in Tyler. Here's my closeout slide. We run so many apps. I know I've got so many apps running on my phone as well. All that's coming from the tower. You're constantly talking to that tower as well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on this, but it's a much-needed facility for Tyler. We've got a great location, and everybody's going to be pleased with the better coverage. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for this expert?
Does the new tower relieve or make the other towers more effective?
Yes, sir.
Because they're
Because
taking on some of that?
Grabs that traffic that's currently going on those other towers that you saw on that one screen. Best server is picking it up as well and provides better service, and it just goes smoother after that. Plus, that gap is covered too with in-building coverage.
Again, thank you for your time and presence. Are there other persons here who'd like to speak on this item, for or against? Yes, sir. Come to the microphone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, good to see you. Good to see everybody. My name is Otis Webster. I was asked to be here today once I received a call about this gathering. I think one of the things that I'm a little concerned about, I can certainly understand what this communication tower is all about, but I'm wondering, for those of you who are really involved with it, have you given any thought to, or is there the possibility of limiting the emission of radiation? That's one question. It's easy to see that where this is proposed to be built, and you said 150 feet high communication tower, and I can understand that this area is becoming somewhat of industrialized corridor. With that in mind, I can see the need for it. But it's also approximated, very closely approximated, to where people are living. And you might know that radiation in the air is very harmful. So the question is whether or not, if it's going to be established, is there any way to moderate the emission of radiation? That's the question.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. Kyle?
Yeah, I'll just mention that the tower will be regulated by the FCC and FAA and all those other federal agencies that kind of have preemption on that discussion about radiation and RF waves and things like that. And so, so that's something I think maybe the applicant might also have some expert, input on that as well, but the radiation and all that would be subject to federal regulation, not to local regulation.
Yes, sir. Could we maybe tell us about, a little bit about radiation?
It's not radiation, it's non-ionizing radio waves, and it's been around since AM radio's been introduced. It's a send and receive, but it's back and forth. So FCC does regulate the amount. This gentleman there's always somebody asking about this, and it's always a fair question. We have to explain it. They control the amount basically by the regulatory process, and we can't exceed that amount, period. We also have to file that paperwork with them before we go on air. You get more radiation, or not radiation, non-ionizing radio waves in front of your microwave, about 10 times more. Like if you do like me, I'm warming up my coffee again, standing in front of there, get 10 times more than standing below the tower itself. So these things are safe. These things are not radioactive in any way. They're non-ionizing.
Thank you. Thanks, both of you. Thanks, Otis. Are there others who'd like to speak?
Johnson. I'm here as a private citizen. I have been involved with this group from the area where I was raised up in from birth. I've been in Tyler practically all of my life, other than leaving for military duty and other things. But my concern is trying to figure out what is it I can do as an individual. And then I thank Dr. Webster for bringing up the question about radiation, because I have taken some interest in maybe investing in some of the properties over there in that area. We all know just southwest of where the project is going on, they're doing some major developments. And that's what posed my interest in trying to make some investments. So my major purpose here as an individual is basically to kind of get involved and just try to find out what I can do as an individual, what our group can do as a group to make sure that we're aware of what's going on and what we can do to make that area the best that it can be. So that's my take. I don't have any yay or nay. I don't know where my group stands on this right now, but I was invited and just look forward to coming and just getting an idea of what's going on.
We appreciate your time and presence.
Yes, sir.
Or are there others who'd like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon to the commission. I'm Brenda Dearman and I live in the community. And I know that the FCC may regulate the regulations regarding the cell tower radiation. But there was a study in Germany, within 5 years of the cell towers, there was cancer-related illnesses in the community from the cell towers radiation. That's within 5 years. So even though you're saying it's not letting off enough radiation, within time there will be a buildup of radiation and it will affect the community.
Any questions for this lady?
So
We appreciate your time and
that's
presence.
what I found in my studies. So there is a risk for radiation, and it is a residential community. Children's, elderly.
I do appreciate your testimony.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Are there others? Any questions for city staff?
What's the distance from this site to the nearest residential, the school notwithstanding? And is there any water supply nearby that could be somehow affected? Do we know?
I don't know if we have the zoning map. Yeah, and there are some homes there are homes to the northwest that might be under 1,000 feet, I would say.
Not
Maybe
immediately
500,
adjacent.
700 feet, yeah.
But it's
Not immediately adjacent, no. In terms of water, I'm not sure if there's any surface water that would be at risk, or even groundwater, but.
Thank you.
Any other questions for city staff? Any other person who'd like to speak? If not, the planning department's recommendation is to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve S 25-001.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this special use permit. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item's approved. Next is C 25-002, Samuel Banks, an unimproved portion of, is that Buddy Street?
Yes, sir.
Sheila?
This is a request for a closure of an unimproved portion of Buddy Street. The request is to replat the right-of-way into their adjacent property. The adjacent properties to the north, east, south, and west are all zoned R1B. The future land use guide identifies this property as single-family, medium-low density. You see the building to the west of that is also a school, early childhood center. The applicant is requesting the closure to replat the right-of-way into their adjacent properties. The street that the applicant is requesting is unimproved and does not appear to have ever been utilized as a street. This request would help facilitate the development of infill housing. The applicant will also be required to dedicate utility easements as necessary. As you can see, there are existing utility lines located within the right-of-way. Of the 11 notices mailed, no notices were returned in favor or in opposition to this requested closure. All other departments have reviewed the application and anticipate a positive impact on services and facilities by the proposed request. Staff recommends approval of the closure of the right-of-way, subject to the right-of-way being replatted within 6 months.
All right, Sheila, thank you. Any questions for city staff?
Just a clarifying question, is there any impact, I see where Jennifer Banks has both the plots to the, looks like the east of it, and no access to that back one. I know she owns both of those, but would there be any impact if one of those was to sell?
What the applicant is, their plans is to develop single-family homes and create 2 new lots by the Banks property.
Could y'all go to the aerial?
I believe the bank's lots on the south, they plan to flip those to be towards Patrick. And so replat those 2 lots to go north and south.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
They are asking for the request.
Okay, so that
they
is
are
on the
aware of
table.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is the applicant here? Somebody represent the applicant? All right, any other questions for city staff? If not, the staff recommendation is to approve, subject to the right-of-ways being replatted within 6 months. Any commissioner like to make a motion?
I move that we approve C25-002.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item's approved. Kyle, are we done?
Yes, sir.
Then we stand adjourned. Thanks to everybody.